Yeah. ILLFLUENT. Rated Ill Rec. Cornerstone. Hey yo. Hey yo, the cornerstone. Too much for one to hold alone. Born alone, die alone. It's what lies in between that define human beings as either trifling as thieves or as righteous as kings through the life that you lead. Advice you might heed might bring light to your seeds. Produce deeper roots that lead right to the tree of what matters. Substance and education above the suffocation of drugs and decimation. That gets props. That's why I wanna convince cops to understand the youth. Join the temple of hip-hop. Assemble a thick flock of MCs who spit hot and speak to the streets on behalf of our peeps, on behalf of everybody who ain't got a voice, and shove it in your faces like you don't got a choice, and penetrate brains and it flows in your direction to silence all of those that oppose our expression. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. It's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as our pillar of strength. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. Yo, it's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as a pillar of strength. Yo, it's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The many streets that I roam, man, I've seen a lot of things. Drugs devour human beings, the poor were once kings. The rich get richer, police live the night scene. We're all trifling when we fall into sin, and after we begin, we drag a few more in. It's time to cure this disease until it finally ends. Hip-hop needs a help from its broken limbs, and I'm here to be a voice, clear, communicate the movement. I ain't trying to be a leader. If I have to, then I'll do it. Not cause I'm conceited, my seeds truly need this. Hip-hop, there's no equal. Hip-hop, we are our people. We stand together, fall together, fight for me and more. Obeying overstandings, never go to civil war. When the beast comes to your door, hold fast to your belief, cause the spirit of a hip-hop will get us through the grief. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. It's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as our pillar of strength. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. Yo, it's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as a pillar of strength. Hey yo, if college changes things and knowledge reigns supreme, I'll follow nature's scheme till I'm called the greatest king. Shaping things that were once beyond control, embracing dreams that were once too far to hold, while changing the minds of all of my peers who thought I wouldn't make it after all of these years. So solid, sincere, taking off college a year and following my quest because all I got is here. We're all hip-hop, forever strengthening our tone. Born as Rolling Stones, die alone for what it's worth. We are kings and queens, we are teachers, we are students, we are hip-hop, and we are no longer useless. The truth is ILLFLUENT could die out anytime, but we'll live through our listeners' hearts and their minds. And the wine, these are truly comforting thoughts. This is truth through the pen, from the heart it's been sought. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. It's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as our pillar of strength. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. Yo, it's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as a pillar of strength. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. It's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as a pillar of strength. The cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. The elements we live when we're building our faith. Yo, it's the cornerstone, too much for one to hold alone. We form this foundation as a pillar of strength.